My world's flipped. Teacher. 32, confused about feelings for student 18. Hey Reddit, I need to get this off my chest. I'm a high school teacher, 32 years old, and I'm in a really messed up situation. I'm starting to have feelings for one of my students, who's 18, and I don't know what to do. Let me give you some background. I've been teaching for about 8 years now. I love my job. I genuinely enjoy working with young people, seeing them grow, and helping them figure things out. I've always been really professional, kept a clear line between my work and personal life. I've had relationships in the past, nothing serious lately, and I've always been pretty good at keeping my emotions in check. This year though, everything changed. There's this student, let's call him Alex. He's in my senior English class. Alex is different. He's bright, thoughtful, and has this kind of quiet intensity that's really captivating. He's also really funny, and he actually participates in class. That alone is a rarity these days. It started subtly. I noticed him asking insightful questions, the kind that made me think. We'd have these little exchanges after class, just about literature or current events, and I found myself looking forward to them. He's got this way of looking at the world that's so refreshing. Then I started noticing other things, like how he'd always be the first to help me with tech issues in the classroom, or how he'd remember small details I mentioned in passing. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself it was just a teacher-student connection, a professional bond. But then I started thinking about him outside of class. I'd find myself replaying our conversations in my head, wondering what he was doing, what he was thinking. I even started noticing how he looked, the way his hair fell across his forehead, the way he smiled. And then it hit me. I was falling for him. Hard. I know. This is completely wrong. I'm his teacher. I'm an adult. He's a student. There's a power imbalance, ethical concerns, and potential legal ramifications. It's a complete mess. The thing is, it doesn't feel like some predatory thing. It feels genuine. It feels like a real connection. And that's what's so terrifying. I'm not some creep who's trying to take advantage of a kid. I'm a person who's genuinely confused and scared. I've tried to distance myself. I've been short with him in class, avoided eye contact, and made excuses to cut our after-class talk short. But it's not working. It's making things worse. It's like trying to hold back a tidal wave. I've been having trouble sleeping. My appetite is gone, and I'm constantly anxious. I'm worried about what will happen if he figures out how I feel. I'm worried about what will happen if I act on it. And honestly, I'm worried about what's going to happen if I don't. I feel like I am in a constant state of panic. I've thought about talking to someone, a therapist or a counselor, but I'm terrified of what they'll say. I'm worried about being judged, about being reported. I feel like I'm walking a tightrope, and one wrong move will send me crashing down. I've also considered transferring to another school, or quitting teaching altogether. But that feels like running away. I love my job, and I don't want to ruin my career over this. And I don't want to leave my students. I've tried to remind myself that he's 18, almost an adult, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still my student. And the age gap, while not huge, still feels significant. I've even tried to convince myself that it's just a crush, a fleeting infatuation, but it doesn't feel fleeting. It feels deep and real. I've been reading a lot about similar situations online, and it's only made me more confused. Some people say it's never okay. Others say it's a gray area. Some say it's just a matter of waiting until he graduates. Others say it's still wrong even then. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. I'm trapped in this cycle of guilt, confusion, and longing. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I've had a few moments where I almost said something to him, almost let something slip, but I've always stopped myself at the last minute. I know it would be a disaster. I've tried to focus on other things, on my work, on my hobbies, but nothing seems to help. He's always there, in the back of my mind, like a constant hum. I feel like I'm betraying my students, my colleagues, and myself. I feel like I'm a terrible person. I've even started to question my own sanity. Am I just imagining things? Am I reading too much into his actions? Is this just a midlife crisis disguised as a crush? I've been thinking about the future, about what will happen when he graduates. Will I still feel this way? Will we ever be able to have a normal conversation without this awkward tension between us? I've also thought about the potential consequences. If anyone found out about my feelings, my career would be over. I could be arrested. I could ruin his life. I've been having nightmares about it. Nightmares where I'm standing in front of the school board, being accused of inappropriate behavior. Nightmares where I'm looking at Alex, and he's looking back at me with disgust. I've even started to avoid social situations. I don't want to run into anyone who knows him. I don't want to risk saying something I'll regret. I'm so isolated. I feel like I'm the only person in the world who's ever felt this way. I know I need to do something. I can't keep living like this, but I don't know what to do. I've thought about writing him a letter, explaining my feelings, and then destroying it. But I'm afraid it would just make things worse. I've even thought about telling him the truth, just to get it off my chest. But I know that's selfish and irresponsible. I'm so scared. I'm scared of what will happen if I do something, and I'm scared of what will happen if I don't. I feel like I'm in a movie, a bad movie, where I'm the villain. I've been trying to find a way out, a way to fix this, but I'm coming up empty. I'm starting to feel hopeless. I feel like I'm trapped in a maze, and there's no way out. I'm reaching out to you, Reddit, because I don't know where else to turn. I need advice. I need someone to tell me what to do. Has anyone else been in a similar situation? How did you handle it? What should I do? I know I'm not a good person right now. I know I've made mistakes, but I'm desperate. I need help. Please, Reddit, help me. I need to emphasize. I know this is wrong. I'm not looking for justification. I'm looking for a way out of this emotional trap. I am seeking advice on how to handle the emotional turmoil and how to behave professionally in this situation. I feel like I am destroying myself from the inside. The anxiety is constant. I'm experiencing physical symptoms too. Headaches, stomach aches, and just general malaise. I am a wreck. I am aware that I have made a terrible mistake by allowing myself to feel this way. I am not trying to excuse my actions, but I am desperate for help. I don't want to hurt anyone, least of all Alex. I also fear that if I don't get help, I will eventually do something that I will regret. I am not sure if I am looking for advice or just to vent, but I needed to say this somewhere. I needed to get this off my chest. I hope someone out there can understand, or at least offer some guidance. I feel so alone. I am scared of what is happening to me. I feel like I'm losing control. I am a teacher, and I am falling for my 18-year-old student. I need help. Thank you for reading.
Update 1. Hey everyone! I wanted to give you an update on my situation, the one where I'm a teacher, and I'm falling for my 18-year-old student, Alex. First off, thank you so much for all the responses. I was honestly overwhelmed by the support and the advice. I know a lot of you were rightfully critical, and I appreciate that too. I needed to hear it. A lot of you strongly suggested therapy, and after reading through the comments, I knew I had to take that step. I finally made an appointment with a therapist who specializes in ethical dilemmas and boundary issues. It was terrifying to make that call, but it was also a huge relief. My first session was intense. I spent most of the time just talking, trying to explain how I got into this mess. The therapist listened without judgment, which was a huge weight off my shoulders. They helped me understand the power dynamics at play and the potential harm I could cause, not just to Alex, but to myself and my career. One of the things they emphasized was the importance of creating distance. They told me to minimize contact with Alex, both in and out of the classroom. This has been incredibly difficult. In class, I've tried to be strictly professional, focusing on the lesson and avoiding any personal interactions. I've stopped those after-class conversations, and I've been very careful to avoid eye contact. It's been so painful. I feel like I'm ignoring him, and I can see that he's noticing. He's become quieter, more withdrawn. I feel terrible about that, but I also know it's necessary. Outside of school, I've deleted his social media, and I've made a conscious effort to avoid places where I might run into him. I've also started focusing on self-care, things I've been neglecting. I've been trying to exercise more, eat healthier, and get more sleep. It's not a cure-all, but it's helping me feel a little more grounded. The therapist also suggested journaling, which I've been doing religiously. It's helped me process my emotions and understand the root of these feelings. I'm starting to see patterns in my behavior and thought processes that I wasn't aware of before. I'm also trying to focus on my other students, on my work,
and on my hobbies. I've joined a book club and I've started volunteering at a local animal shelter. These things are helping me reconnect with my life outside of school. However, despite all these changes, the feelings are still there. They're not as intense as they were, but they haven't disappeared. I still think about Alex constantly. I still find myself replaying our past interactions. And I still feel a pang of longing every time I see him. I'm also struggling with guilt. I feel like I've betrayed his trust, and I'm worried about the impact this is having on him. I keep thinking about how he's quieter in class, and it breaks my heart. The therapist told me that this process will take time, that healing isn't linear. They said that I need to be patient with myself, and that I need to focus on taking things one day at a time. I'm trying to be patient, but it's hard. I feel like I'm in a constant state of limbo, waiting for these feelings to subside. I know I'm not out of the woods yet. I know I still have a long way to go, but I wanted to share this update to let you know that I'm taking steps in the right direction. Thank you again for all your support. I really appreciate it. I'm still scared, and I'm still confused, but I'm also starting to feel a glimmer of hope. I know I can get through this. I will continue to update you all as things progress. I hope that by sharing my experience, I can help someone else who might be going through something similar. I am still taking all of your advice to heart. Thank you.
Update 2. Hey Reddit, I'm back with another update. It's been a few months since my last post, and a lot has happened. First, Alex graduated. That was a complicated day. On one hand, I was relieved. It meant I wouldn't be seeing him in a classroom setting anymore, which made maintaining distance a bit easier. On the other hand, it was incredibly painful, seeing him walk across that stage, knowing that he was moving on to the next chapter of his life, felt like a door closing. I maintained my professional distance during the graduation ceremony. I congratulated him briefly, like I did with all the other students, and avoided any prolonged interaction. But the whole time, my heart was pounding, and I felt a mix of sadness and relief. Since then, I've continued with therapy. My therapist has been helping me unpack the deeper issues behind my feelings for Alex. We've talked a lot about my own loneliness, my need for connection, and my tendency to idealize people. It's been a painful process, but it's also been incredibly enlightening. I've also been working on rebuilding my social life. I've been spending more time with friends and family, and I even started dating again. It's been awkward and uncomfortable at times, but it's also been a good reminder that there are other people in the world, people who are appropriate for me. The distance between Alex and me has helped, to a degree. I'm not seeing him every day, which has lessened the intensity of my feelings. However, they haven't completely disappeared. I still think about him, especially when I'm alone, or when I see something that reminds me of him. I've also had to deal with the lingering guilt and anxiety. I still worry about the impact my feelings might have had on him, even though I never acted on them. I worry that he might have sensed something, and that it might have affected his last few months of high school. My therapist has reminded me that I can't control the past, and that I need to focus on moving forward. They've also emphasized the importance of self-forgiveness. I'm trying to be kind to myself, but it's still a struggle. I did run into Alex once, at a local coffee shop. It was a brief encounter, and we just exchanged polite greetings. He seemed fine, but I was a nervous wreck. It reinforced how much I need to avoid contact. I've been working on my professional development too. I've attended workshops on ethical boundaries and professional conduct. I want to make sure I never put myself or another student in this position again. I've also been reflecting on my role as a teacher. I've realized how important it is to maintain clear boundaries and to be aware of the power dynamics at play. I've become more cautious in my interactions with students, and I've made a conscious effort to be more professional and less emotionally involved. I realize now how close I came to ruining everything. My career, my reputation, Alex's life. I feel immense gratitude for the support I received, and that I was able to get professional help. I know this journey isn't over. There will be good days and bad days. I still have a lot of work to do on myself, but I'm committed to healing and moving forward. I wanted to share this update to show that progress is possible, even in difficult situations. If anyone else is going through something similar, please know that you're not alone. Seek professional help, and don't be afraid to ask for support.
Final update. Hey Reddit, this is my final update. It's been about a year since my initial post, and I wanted to close this chapter and share where I am now. Looking back, I can't believe how lost and confused I was. It feels like a lifetime ago. The pain and anxiety I experienced were intense, but I've come a long way. First and foremost, therapy has been instrumental in my healing process. I continued seeing my therapist regularly for almost a year, and I'm now down to occasional check-ins. We delved deep into the root causes of my feelings, my patterns of behavior, and my emotional needs. I learned so much about myself, and I'm a stronger, more self-aware person because of it. The distance from Alex has also been crucial. I haven't seen him since that brief encounter at the coffee shop, and I've made a conscious effort to avoid any contact. This distance, combined with therapy, has allowed my feelings to gradually fade. I've also focused on rebuilding my life. I've continued to nurture my friendships and family relationships, and I've found a healthy romantic relationship. It's been wonderful to experience a connection that's based on mutual respect and appropriate boundaries. Professionally, I've returned to my passion for teaching, but with a renewed sense of responsibility and awareness. I've become more involved in school initiatives related to ethical conduct and student-teacher boundaries. I even gave a presentation to new teachers on the importance of maintaining professional relationships with students. I've also learned to forgive myself. It hasn't been easy, but I've come to understand that everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and to take steps to prevent them from happening again. I've reflected a lot on the lessons I've learned from this experience. Here are a few key takeaways. Boundaries are essential. Clear, professional boundaries are crucial in any relationship, but especially in a teacher-student relationship. Power dynamics matter. It's important to be aware of the power dynamics at play and to avoid any situation that could be perceived as exploitative. Self-awareness is key. Understanding your own emotional needs and patterns of behavior can help you avoid making harmful choices. Professional help is invaluable. Therapy provided me with the tools and support I needed to navigate this difficult situation. Healing takes time. It's important to be patient with yourself and to allow yourself time to heal. I want to thank everyone who responded to my initial post. Your support, advice, and even criticism were invaluable. I know I made a mistake, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow from it. I'm sharing this final update to offer hope to anyone who might be going through a similar situation. It's possible to heal and move forward. It's possible to learn from your mistakes and build a better life. I'm no longer the person I was a year ago. I'm stronger, wiser, and more grounded. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, and I'm optimistic about the future. Thank you, Reddit, for being a part of my journey.